What will Donald Trump's reign bring? Welcome to Law and Society. Please subscribe and let's talk about it. What will Donald Trump's reign bring? Because his second term in office is going to be very different from the first. And the question is, can our democracy survive 4 years of Donald Trump and his loyalists? Donald Trump 2.0 is very different from the first time. No guardrails, more empowered. He knows now who are the institutionalists who would put the Constitution over them. His vice president now has openly said that he would have stopped the certification of the vote on January 6th and do what Mike Pence did not do and what vice presidents do not have the power to do. And he will start off with major executive orders to drill for more oil and gas and begin mass deportation of migrants. Mind you, just want to talk about it briefly over here, and we'll talk about it more in a little while. Is Donald Trump's idea is that if he indiscriminately drills oil for oil and gas and floods the market with that, it will bring down American costs because of everything. It depends on energy. And to that extent, there's some truth to that. However, Donald Trump's mass deportation will offset whatever gains, whatever deflationary gains that Donald Trump would want to have with indiscriminate drilling for natural resources, non renewable resources. And it would offset that because the labor force, which is a lot of the food production that happens in our country, a lot of the farms, they are worked by migrant workers. A lot of them are legal migrant workers. And to the extent that there are undocumented, I don't know the numbers. But they are not criminals. They are laborers who work in the farms that allows America to have a bounty that it has when it goes to grocery stores. You go to a grocery store in any other country, it's not nearly as, stocked up and fresh like in the United States. And that's because of migrant workers. And add to that the tariffs that Donald Trump wants to put. So the tariffs are essentially sales taxes that are paid by the consumers because the price goes up of bringing a product from the manufacturer to the consumer. So neither the exporter, neither the importer wants to pay that excess money. Therefore, that money is then moved to the consumers. So that's another sales tax. And then it cuts out whatever energy idea that Donald Trump has of offsetting inflation because his own policies will essentially undercut that. He has chosen lieutenants that have said, in terms of mass deportations, that they are willing to deport entire families at a time, even go far as denaturalizing American citizens. What that means and the gravity of that is so extreme. You are given citizenship by the government of the United States if you're naturalized like I am, or you have birthright citizenship because you are born in the United States. Now, Donald Trump's lieutenants, this person named Homan, last name Homan, is all about deporting whole families at a time. Keep in mind that doing these will be difficult because there will be nonprofits and activists who will get in the way of what Donald Trump's borders czar wants to do. To that effect, the House passed a law that would allow the government to change the status of nonprofits to terrorist organizations if need be. And there is a huge need for the Senate to strike that bill down. It'll probably come up again, but the Senate has to stand strong. And that now boils down to the majority Republican leader, Senator Thune, and see what he does. And we are a democracy in crisis at the moment, and I'm not making this a hyperbole. This is where we are. We're walking into it. What will this bring? And I'm just talking about the beginning. Keep in mind that Donald Trump will be more powerful than any previous president thanks to Trump v. United States, the immunity ruling. Presidential immunity will cover Donald's acts, and he will play the game to make all his actions official duties. He has hired his criminal defense team to be part of his administration. The people who have been dealing with all his federal criminal conspiracy charges and immunity questions are now going to be part of Donald Trump's administration. They'll know what to do when it comes to Donald taking drastic action that would otherwise be illegal and turning them into part of the president's official duties, thereby immunizing Donald and, at least at a qualified manner, anybody who carries out Donald's orders. Donald Trump can also pardon every January 6th defendant who is currently incarcerated and who are also currently in the process of being held accountable. He can pardon those convicted of seditious conspiracy. And if he does that, when he does that, it's going to be a can you prove it moment where Donald Trump is essentially saying, yeah, I'm pardoning them for a crime that I helped them commit. Because Donald Trump is now above the law. And the FBI, and because of the destruction of evidence, and we know that that has happened, the FBI was not, and the DOJ was not able to find a link between the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers and Donald Trump. And therefore, Donald Trump was not indicted for seditious conspiracy, and he was indicted for a conspiracy to defraud the United States. But should he pardon Proud Boys and Oath Keepers, to me, it would be Donald Trump telling the entire country, can you prove that I was conspiring with them? No, you can't. And the last time I heard that was from Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov when talking about Russian interference in American elections, which is also a topic that we will have to talk about briefly. I wouldn't be surprised if he enlists these people he pardons in a volunteer corps of his foot soldiers to operate outside the government. He would also quite willingly nationalize the National Guard, federalize the National Guard, and put them on civilian oversight duties. Should he do that, once they get on the streets, Donald's never going to take them off. And that'll be the beginning of his police state. So think about that. Donald's walking into this with a vice president who would do anything for Donald Trump and is a loyalist, but also an opportunist. So perhaps waiting for the time to, invoke the 25th Amendment. But that is more of a wishful thinking than the reality of Vance standing by and saying that I would do what Pence did not do. And then you have the Department of Governmental Efficiency, DOGE, that's going to be run by Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, that is being now legitimized by Congress by Speaker Johnson announcing that Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to head the subcommittee. That's where the emphasis went on the wrong syllable. Would be part of the subcommittee. She would chair the subcommittee, Marjorie Taylor Greene, that would then oversee the Department of Governmental Efficiency, where Vivek and Elon are having a field day about all the things that they're going to cut and all the departments that they're going to trim. And it sounds like Project 2025 on steroids. There will be attempts to repeal the CHIPS Act and Obamacare, Affordable Care Act, despite the fact that there's going to be prosperity and there is now security of the American people in terms of med, health insurance by way of the Affordable Care Act. Those things going away are real possibilities. Anti-trans policies may very well be implemented throughout the federal government. Donald or his allies won't care about the fallout. They don't see trans or other LGBTQ people as people. They don't see us as people. Expect cuts to the education budget and beginnings of school voucher programs, cutbacks of Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid, and all real possibilities. If cases on marriage equality go up to this conservative SCOTUS, they will overrule the law of the land under Oberfeld v. Hodges that gave people the right to marry others of the same sex. If a case goes up on contraception to SCOTUS that SCOTUS actually wants to take on the substance, it could then very well scrap the right to contraceptives, and along with it, the landmark ruling Griswold v. Connecticut that creates the right of contraception and is a landmark case that could impact everything from the right to contraception to family rights. Reproductive freedoms will become more fractured as more states implement prohibitive laws. Or hopefully, more states start doing their own protection. That would be ideal. But as of now, 1 in 3 American states have prohibitive reproductive freedom laws. Countless women will be subjected to mental and physical anguish because of a disunited country when it comes to women's health. Donald Trump will take credit for any economic gains made possible by various spending bills that Biden made law by signing them. But he will try to dismantle them, just like they have been trying to dismantle the Affordable Care Act, while reaping the benefits of it, while their demographics reap the benefit of it, because it helps the non-college graduate working people of America. So he will try to repeal them, and it may happen faster than we can imagine if he has an acquiescent Senate and House. He will disregard all climate change considerations and may very well undo the EPA, if not neuter it by not giving it funding or not asking for funding. And, Congress will go along with him because Congress is compliant to him now. Then we have to go through the impact of Donald's economic strategies, tariffs that will cost every American more and not the countries, either the United States or the other countries. His inflation reduction plan is drill, baby, drill, because everything is connected to energy. And I said, that's right. He thinks he can bring prices down by indiscriminate drilling. It may work for a short time, but that's not a long-term strategy. But Donald's mission is not to think in the long term. What he really cares about is that he is safe now and he cannot be prosecuted. And now he'll help whoever helped him. And it'll be a transactional presidency where we will see corruption like we haven't seen before. And that includes foreign adversaries like Putin. And let's talk about the Russian influence that will keep on happening. Remember the last time in Helsinki, Donald Trump as president undermined our intelligence community by saying that he believes Vladimir Putin over our intelligence community. He'll keep doing more and more of that. And with disinformation ramped up by Elon Musk taking in God knows what money from his subscriptions and his premium subscriptions, is going to fund whatever right wing propaganda, and then he's going to amplify it, and so will the right wing. So we, the pro democracy, non MAGA Americans, have to be vigilant of that and have to push back every time something seems wrong. Now let's talk a little bit about the foreign policy. Recently, Vladimir Putin fired an intercontinental ballistic missile, an ICBM, at Dunpiro. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Or I'm not entirely sure. At an Ukrainian city, Dunpiro. And that has never happened in this war before. That is a huge escalation. When Donald Trump himself said that he could end the conflict the day he won the election. But to Donald Trump, the truth is that Ukraine doesn't matter. He will force Ukraine to cede territory. Ukraine will not. He will threaten to pull support from NATO if NATO continues to support Ukraine. Europe will have to bear the brunt of Ukraine defense with Donald leading in the United States. Donald Trump will also not care about Gazans. He will give Israel free rein to do whatever they want, however long they want. He may even call back our fleets from the South China Sea and from volatile areas of the world like the Black Sea. He will shrink America's impact on the world. And that seems very much like something he would be doing because he's being told to do so. If for nothing else but his cabinet picks, he's setting our country up to fail should there be a major crisis domestically or internationally. So, can we withstand all of this and still remain a country we were even 10 years ago? Will we be better off? We are better off today than we were 4 years ago. And thanks to Biden and Harris for that. And thanks to a Democratic Congress for that. And the work that they did from 2021 to 2023. And then came the House, the MAGA House. And now we have a MAGA single party government. So we should be careful about being litigious about our rights. We should be defensive about them. We should be aware of propaganda and push it down with proper information and proper sourcing from media, independent journalists, and a litany of the legacy media that I cannot wholeheartedly call the free press anymore. So that is what we have to do now, and keep pushing. Keep calling your senators on making sure that Thune, Majority Leader Thune, does his job. So his job becomes the most important job in Washington, D.C., is to put a check on MAGA, because he's the only one who can. Because Mike Johnson won't. Trump's little Johnson will not do that. And we have seen how SCOTUS effectively not only gave Donald Trump full immunity, they also helped delay Donald Trump's criminal case so it would not happen until after the election. And now it will never happen. So think about these things as we walk forward. And I can say this freely, that I am open to accepting that I will be wrong about every one of these things. And I'm hoping that I am. So, with that said, please take care of yourself. Bruce, thank you for being here. And all I can say is come back and hang out next time, and we'll talk more about our country. Take care.